Hello my friends, today we are talking about the brand new Fujifilm X-E5. Logos on top, not on the front. We're going to talk about why that is. Also, brand new lens, 28mm 2.8 pancake lens that pairs perfectly with this camera. Now you're probably wondering, why is it silver and the camera is black? Well, both of these units are available in both silver and black. Unfortunately, Fujifilm did not have a matching pair for me at the time of this release, but you can get them matching, and they pair perfectly together. And what's interesting about that is once you put this 28mm pancake on this camera, it kind of becomes an X100VI. But it's an X100VI for those who don't like the commitment of a fixed lens camera. So we're gonna get into that a little bit, comparing it to that camera and figuring out, is this the better camera for you, or is the X100VI the better camera? We're also gonna spend a little bit of time talking about the positioning of this camera from a marketing perspective or from a demographic perspective. What is Fujifilm trying to do with the design of this camera, and who is it for? We spent a bit of time this year in some of the other reviews with the other cameras discussing that as well, and I think it's an important topic. And lastly, of course, we are going to talk about my experience with this camera over the couple days that I had to shoot with it. Walked around the city, shot with it. There are some things about the design that I really love, really enjoy, and there's some things that were a little unusual to me that took some getting used to, but I don't think there's any sort of like deal breakers in there. You should know that I don't have a script for this video. This is very much off the cuff. And so there might be some jump cuts, there might be some stuttering and whatever, but I've got some notes on my computer right here that I'm gonna refer to from time to time, but let's get into this. If I had to describe this camera in a few talking points, it would simply be this. It is their most up-to-date technology in terms of the Generation 5 tech, that is the X Processor 5 and the CMOS 5 that you're gonna find in already existing cameras like, yes, the X100VI, the X-T5, X-T50, XS20, and the XM5, as well as the two XH2 models. And then of course, excluding the GFX stuff, that's a whole other thing. So aps-c wise, I think that's all of them. The best way to really describe this camera is that it is an assemblage of already existing Fujifilm stuff. That means that it is the brains of the X100VI. It is the body of a shrunken GFX 100 RF. And where that's really important is that the top as well, like this whole body piece here, is machined aluminum, not stamped. And with it being machined, you can actually die cut very specific shapes that you can't do with a press. So the only other camera that has that to this date is the 100 RF. So they've taken that body and shrunk it down for a much more sleek design. And then basically, they've just made that camera interchangeable lens. So when it comes down to it, it's required very little, if not almost zero technological innovation from the brains perspective. They put everything into the box, and the box matters. And so we're gonna spend a bunch of time today talking about the box. What you're seeing, especially when you take the logo from the front and you move it to the top, the idea is that presentation, is that very sleek, Leica-fying of Fujifilm. Now, Fujifilm has always been that sort of next step down from Leica in terms of that presentable, beautiful camera. The popularity of Leica is growing as well. And so Fujifilm is really attempting to take that part of the market. They're really the only other people other than Leica doing it in a serious way, making cameras that are really, really aesthetically beautiful to use. But it's not just about aesthetics, it is about usability. And when you have a camera that is this like Edsel Frankenstein of a camera with a million buttons and dials and grips and everything, it can become a little overwhelming to use, and they want to just simplify the process. So it's not just about a beautiful camera, it's about a camera that is just a little bit easier to use, but it has all the functionality of a pro body more or less, save for a few things. And so what we're seeing here is a trend from Fujifilm to create cameras that you really, really want to take with you, that are fashion pieces more than ever, but also really easy to use and not intimidating. They also include with the camera this beautiful rope strap with it as well. So they're really making sure that you're proud to sort of wear this camera, that it doesn't embarrass you in any way. Let's move on now to talking about my anecdotal experience about working with this camera for the last couple of days. It's really all about, again, the box, the body, and how I interacted with this unique and new design. The first is going to be the LCD screen. It's exactly the same as on the X-E4. It flips up it flips down, it flips all the way up and towards you, which I actually really love because the eye line is a little bit better if you're talking to the camera or you're trying to take a selfie photo, things like that. So that's great, nothing's new there. Of course, what's also not new is the fact that it still doesn't tilt this way, right? There's no vertical tilt on it. And the reason for that, if I was to make my assumptions, is it adds to bulk. So you don't have such of a slim camera anymore. It adds to price and it adds to weight. So how important is the vertical flip? It's less important than certainly the horizontal flip. And even shooting vertically, yeah, it wasn't great. It would have been nice if the vertical flip was there, but I didn't suffer. You know, it was just sort of like, I can't see it as well. But it's still great. And you can still crouch down and look through the EVF. The next feature to discuss is this little window that's on the top here that has a dial connected to it. And this is your film simulation sort of quick switch or quick dial. This is very similar in some ways to what we just saw on the Fujifilm X-E5 camera that had this little sort of LCD slide thing that allowed you to toggle through all of the film simulations, which I loved. I thought it was one of my favorite things about the camera, because previously you have to either set a hot button or go into the Q menu, and then there's this overlay and it's kind of annoying. So this is an amazing way to toggle through your film simulations, especially moving from, say, acros to a color profile. But the best thing about it is that there are 3 sort of film simulation custom banks. And what this allows you to do is to customize that film simulation and that picture profile. We talked about this in our very popular, we're nearly 200,000 views on it, Fujifilm Simulation Guide. And I really talked about it in the context of using the third-party app, Fuji X Weekly, which is an amazing app that gives you all these awesome recipes that you can create looks like Kodachrome, Ektachrome, CineStill, whatever you want. And there's lots of people contributing to it. So it's sort of this nice little recipe app that you have. And now you can go in and you can program all of those recipes into these 3 custom banks using sort of the base film simulation from Fujifilm and then adapting it from there. And this is really, really awesome. My only critique of this is that if you have, say, for example, a Fujifilm camera with custom banks, when you save that custom bank, you can also save a custom name to it. With these ones, you cannot. And it would be great if when you go to, say, FS1, it says, you know, CineStill 800 or whatever you've designed it or whatever you want to call it. I've suggested to Fujifilm, of course, that this would be a really wonderful firmware upgrade in the future. Before moving on, I do want to talk about where this is placed. It is actually placed in the best spot for the camera, especially if you are shooting sort of waist level street style like this, then it makes a ton of sense and I love it being there. Like I said, there's nowhere else for this feature to go. But what that also means is it being there and just existing there, if you want to use it to change your film simulations, but your eye is up to the EVF, it becomes quite clumsy and problematic. There's really no good way to go through it. The only way I found is to have my thumb on it like this and then to cycle through this way. So it means changing your grip and sort of adjusting to that. It's not the end of the world, but it does feel clumsy, which means you have this and you deal with it, or you just don't have it at all. The next feature I'd like to discuss with you is the electronic viewfinder. There is no optical viewfinder in this camera like the X100VI. It is only electronic, but there is an innovation on the inside. So you have your regular electronic viewfinder Fujifilm display with information on the top and the bottom and the sides and just about everywhere. But they now have a more stripped down vintage film camera viewfinder aesthetic that you can toggle on. And yes, I know, the first thing that you think of when you hear that is, oh, this is just kind of a stylistic gimmick. Until you use it. And then once you use it, you're like, oh, this makes a ton of sense, at least for me. Listen, I shoot a lot of film photography, and I really appreciate just having a very simple viewfinder. The minute I turned it on, what was really apparent to me was all the distractions in a typical electronic viewfinder were gone. And it allowed me to really focus on the frame. And I think that's really, really important. Again, the box is important. I would consider this to be a box change, less a technological change, because we just want to simplify that user interaction and experience with the camera. So I really love this. I kind of wish it was on all Fujifilm cameras, but it makes a lot of sense to put it on this one. And I think it's a big selling feature for using this camera. The last features I want to discuss are found on this side of the body. First being on the top here, we have your diopter adjustment that is no longer outset from the camera. So typically if it's outset, you kind of take your fingers, you pinch it, and you can roll it like this. This one is inset, so it's nice in a sleek design. It does take some getting used to because typically, again, like I mentioned, you would normally pinch it and roll like this. But now you have to just either press it down and do this, or take your fingernails and click it in the grooves of the fingernails. It feels more cumbersome to me because I'm just so used to doing this. For a lot of people, you adjust this once and never again. For people like me who sometimes I shoot with my glasses on, sometimes I don't, I am using this more often than not, and it just requires some getting used to. I don't necessarily think it's inferior, but I do think the tactility is a slight trade-off. The last feature to mention is as we move down the body, we see now a physical focus mode switch, manual, continuous, single. Previously on the X-E models, you'd have to go into the menu system, into the Q menu or set a hot button, then select. So a couple processes just to accomplish what can be done in one move of the finger. Really, really nice to have that physically on the camera now. Okay, let's wrap this up. In terms of Fujifilm cameras, this camera gives you the very most with the very least. It is effectively inside an X100VI with the sleekness of a mini GFX 100 RF body, beautifully machine cut, really nice to use, and then takes away the excuse of the fixed lens haters with an interchangeable lens. Now, it's not an exact replacement for an X100VI because you lose all of the durability that comes with a fixed lens camera. We won't get dust or water in. You often get slightly better optics with a fixed lens, as well as a leaf shutter, optical viewfinder, etc., etc. But there is a huge market for something like the X100VI that has an interchangeable lens. And while we're on the topic of the lens, this new pancake lens is an absolute must companion, and it will come as a kit as well with this camera. Because if you look at another option, which is this 23mm 1.4, it's absolutely massive in comparison. And I don't think, for the way that we use 23mm lenses, I don't think you need those extra 2-ish sort of stops. I don't think it's super critical. So for me, this is like a no-brainer to go with this lens when you buy this camera for only a few $100s more. As Chase Jarvis and a few other notable photographers over time have said, the best camera is the one that you have with you. And there's only two brands that really understand this, Leica and Fujifilm. It is a fun camera to shoot with. It looks great. You'll take it with you. And if you take it with you, you're gonna take more photographs. And if you take more photographs, you're gonna become a better photographer. The best cameras aren't living their best life sitting on a shelf. For me, for now, I'm out. Peace.